guys, it's your girl Angela here. I am on my way driving to the real estate office. Oh yeah. But look, y'all, I was just checking in with you all, seeing how everybody's doing with all this virtual learning. If you have your children, seeing how the back to school has been going for you. And you know what's so funny is you really don't realize how much you have forgotten as far as education wise until you sit down or like spy in on your kids' virtual learning. And so I was doing some of the classwork with one of my kids because how they do it is they do the virtual learning and then they have some downtime where they can do other, their work, classwork stuff. So Lillian was studying about Albert Einstein, right? And so it's amazing how over time you just forget stuff. But it was an interesting point that sort of jumped out at me when she was learning about Einstein. And the write-up was saying how when he first took his exam to go to college, he failed it the first time, and his parents feared that he was not too bright. But who knew that Albert Einstein had failed the exam the first time he took it to get into college? And it's like, and so it had me thinking how many times have we not made the mark, or we call it failed. And in so many things in life where we feel like we are actually failures, when really we are not. I remember reading a book a while ago. I don't know who wrote it. It was called Failing Up. Maybe it was Tavis Smiley who wrote it. I'm not sure. But anyway, it just talked about how our failures or our shortcomings help us get to the next point higher up. And I thought about Albert Einstein and like, what would have happened if he would have just been like, you know what? I failed this exam. Man, I'm not going. This college thing, it's just not for me. But that's not what happened. And so he just kept going. And so I even started thinking about my own life and how sometimes we find ourselves, quote unquote, failing, and then we stop. The other day I was in my closet, and I found in my closet different places over the years where I've had business cards made of different businesses that I've tried to do, from cookie making to my doing hair to my educational consulting, job placement, everything. I have done those things. I've tried to use my talents, giftings, and abilities that God has given me to also try to make money. And then I looked at them at first and I was like, look at all these business cards. Dang, I failed. And then I started thinking, no, I didn't fail. I failed up because all those things that I tried and I learned a lot in the process, and I'm able to apply and to what I'm doing now, which is real estate. And it also had me thinking about how when I started pursuing real estate back in the end of 2018, here in North Carolina, you have to take 75 hours of in-class instruction, and this was pre-COVID. So you do the 75 hours of in-class instruction, and then you have to take an in-class test. When and if you pass the in-class test, then you can proceed further and sit to take the national and state real estate brokers exam here in North Carolina. So I did not pass the classroom test with high enough score. I took it twice, the test twice, the classroom, and I didn't get high enough, so I had to retake the class again. And in retaking, you have to repay, and that's re-money, more money. So anyway, I had to retake the class again. But when I failed back in the class, I didn't pass in, I think it was like in the end of December, beginning of January of 2019, I took a few months off. But in that time of taking those months off, I still listened to real estate teachings. I still read my book. I still kept feeding my spirit. I guess I'll call it feeding my real estate spirit. I kept feeding myself the information so it would not be brand new to me when I retook the class again. Okay, so now let's fast forward it to almost a year later, COVID, when I decided to pay for the class again. And this time, due to COVID, the instruction was Zoom, so we still had to be present and look at the camera and the teacher and everything and interact, but we weren't in the classroom. And so, long story short, I did not stop, and I ended up passing the class exam, praise you, Lord Jesus, and then I was able to sit for the national and state exam. Okay. Now, those of you all who know about North Carolina, you know that this is a broker-only state, and so you know that exam is hard as cleaning a house with a toothbrush, right? But anyway, the first time I took the national and state, I passed the national but failed the state. Thankfully, you don't have to retake both. If you fail, you just retake the portion that you failed. And then I went back and I passed it. But I said all that to say this. Had I stopped, had Albert Einstein stopped when he failed his college entrance exam the first time, had you stopped, where would you be? It's just like relationships. Let's make it to relationships. I'm married. This is my second marriage, but my first marriage, it was an utter failure, an utter disaster. Nobody forced me to marry that dude. I did it myself. I have no issue with him because, like I say, and nobody put no gun in my head and told me to marry him. Matter of fact, the very opposite. My parents told me not to do it, and long story short, I even eloped. But I got out of that marriage, thank God. But what if I would have allowed that thing to harden me, or allowed it to taint me where I didn't want to move forward? Or what if I saw it as a failure, like so many of you all? Some of you all have seen things as failures because you tried, nothing happened. You tried, nothing happened. You tried, nothing happened. Trust me, I know. I feel that way. I have written books, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the book that, gets me, in front of the right people, and it can help people. And then nothing panned out. At least I thought it didn't pan out. But what you don't realize is that it is really building something within you, right? It's really teaching you something. So I just want to encourage you all that, just like with Albert Einstein, who is world-renowned and known for his brilliance, even he failed up. You understand what I'm saying? He did not allow that failing the entrance exam into college to stop him from taking it again. So what have you stopped? You know what? It's just like with me, okay. I'm even going to relate it. We talked about how career we have failed. We just talked about relationship where I have failed as far as in my first marriage. And I'm not saying I failed as in making the marriage bad, but I'm saying I married someone who I knew in my heart I should not have married anyway. It was not marriage material. And that was me. That was, as they say, that was my bad. You understand? But let's talk about even physically. A lot of you all know my story and my journey. Back in 2006, I was at my heaviest weight of 318 pounds. I lost from then until, I had lost over like 150, but over years and everything, I have gained 20 pounds. And so I went to the doctor a few days ago, and I was feeling really down, like, dang it, I've gained 20 pounds. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm a freaking failure. Like I used to be an aerobics instructor years ago, and I used to do this, and I even have my own fitness business too. Mother has done some stuff, y'all. But anyway, I was like, dang, I've gained 20 pounds. And then I said, wait a minute, Angela, 20 pounds? You didn't gain the whole 150 back. You gained 20. So now, what you going to do about it, boo? Are you going to sit here and feel sorry for yourself and drain your sorrows in another in another bottle of wine, or are you going to put the wine down, get your fat behind up, and start walking and running and pull it together, mother? And that's what we have to do, right? So instead of us looking at situations as a failure, I'm really starting to try to look at it as, okay, this happened, it was a shortcoming. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not one of those people who you like did defy and deny reality. I've always been pretty much a realist, maybe to a fault, because I'm downright, as my husband says, sometimes I can just be a negative nanny. It is what it is. God ain't through with me, I ain't through with you. But because I look at reality so much. And so you can't allow reality or what you think or perceive as your reality to jade you or to make you feel less. You understand? Or to prevent you from trying. Some of you all, and now I'm going to bring it back to the real estate because, that's my thing. That's my juge. That's my love, right? Some of y'all might be wondering, why did you even decide to go into real estate? You're freaking 49 years old. You started this journey back when you were 47. You have a master's degree, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you why. Because, one, I love real estate. I just think one way that makes everyone feel accomplished and happy is to purchase something of your own. I don't care if it's a mobile home or if it is a $7.9 million mansion. It's yours. And the funny thing is, my husband and I have purchased a mobile home. Our first home that we purchased was a mobile home. I'm going to go on to the real estate stuff with you all later, our real estate journey and why I really love real estate. But most importantly, it's because it makes you've accomplished something, right? It's yours. And so, even though technically, the bank still owns it until you pay off the loan. But anyway, I digress. Unless you pay cash for it, or. But anywho, the point is, y'all, we don't have to feel like failures just because we don't make the mark. Every single day of our life, and again, this is me too, I have to train myself to think positive because literally I am negative by nature. I was not always this way. I allowed bad situations, bad circumstances, things, trials and tribulations of life to harden me. And now I'm realizing that spills over into my everyday life. So I'm in line here now at Starbucks. I'm going to get me a little grande soy skinny vanilla latte with no foam. Shout out to Starbucks if you want to, send your girl a card. I mean, a free card. But anyway, so anywho, let's just continue to keep failing up. You understand what I'm saying? If Albert Einstein, a genius, even failed an entrance exam into college the first time he did it, and we have failed numerous times in business, relationship, even when it came to having children, guys. I got pregnant after my husband and I got married. We waited about 2 or 3 years before we had our first child. In between our first child and our third, I got pregnant, and I had a miscarriage. Now, had I let that in my mind be a failure to me and stop and not try again, I wouldn't have our little Lily. So I just want to encourage all of you all. Y'all, please excuse all this up here. Y'all know how it is up here in the car. This is like my office. My car is my office, okay? But anyway, thank you all for joining me. I love you all, and continue to look. Let's keep failing up. Talk to you soon. Bye.